Welcome to Massive Late Fee. And now your hosts, Mark and Carol. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Massive Late Fee. My name is Mark. With me as always is my wife Carol. How are you doing today, Carol?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. It's been a good week here. It is September 17th, 1999.
It's okay.
And
you know where you are at least, right? May not know the day, but you know
yeah,
where you
we're
are.
in Colorado, right?
Oh, no. I'm scared now.
We're in Narnia.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
What's that goat's name? The goat guy.
What?
In Narnia.
It's not a goat guy. It's Mr. Thompson.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking
But
about.
he's not a goat.
Well, what is he?
I don't know, but he's not a goat.
Mr. Tumnus.
Tumnus, yes, that's it.
We're
not big dorks or anything, guys.
He's a whatever he is. He's not a centaur.
But he's like a centaur.
But it's not a horse that he's half of. It's like a goat he's half of.
He's not a goat.
Or a donkey. He's half of something. A sheep?
I don't know.
He's not half a horse.
I don't know. I don't
remember what they
we'll
call it.
have to look at the book. Anyway.
So, Carol, first order of business. The Emmys.
Yes.
The Elizabeth. What's long for Emma or Emmy?
I don't know. Esmeralda?
Amelia. Oh, Esmeralda. There you go. The Esmeraldas.
Amelia's probably better.
That's the joke is Esmeraldas.
Okay.
That's much better. I'm too lazy to edit this out, but the Esmeraldas were hosted and Zereldas. And some interesting winners, Carol.
Okay, let's hear it.
Ally McBeal for Outstanding Comedy Series.
Boo.
She broke the stranglehold Frasier had on the award. Also beating out Everybody Loves Raymond, Friends, and Sex and the City.
Did we talk about the fact that the Emmys were coming up last time we recorded this show?
We did, yeah.
That explains why this. I'm having like a deja vu feeling. But
Well, these are the actual winners, though.
Okay.
Not just our speculation. So you don't like Ally McBeal winning Best Who would your pick been?
Sex and the City, maybe?
Oh, interesting. Over Friends.
Oh.
I know you love your Friends.
Wait a minute. I don't know. It's hard, but definitely wouldn't be Ally McBeal.
Outstanding Drama Series, The Practice, over ER, Law & Order, NYPD Blue, and The Sopranos.
The Practice is good.
The Sopranos is a good show, too.
Yeah, it is. But
David Letterman wins comedy, variety, whatever. That's great. Now acting. John Lithgow wins an Emmy in Esmeralda as Dr. Dick Solomon in Third Rock from the
I love that show. Yeah.
He beat out Michael J. Fox, Kelsey Grammer, Paul Reiser, and Ray Romano
Wow.
himself.
I'm surprised.
You're surprised he won?
I mean, that's just a hard. That would be a hard competition.
Yeah, very hard competition. Outstanding.
What is your problem? Seriously.
Outstanding lead actress in a comedy, Helen Hunt. No?
I don't know.
She beat out Jenna Elfman, Callista Flockhart, Patricia Heaton, and Sarah Jessica Parker.
Sarah Jessica Parker should have won.
Wow. I think when we talked about this last time, you said Helen Hunt should win because...
Did I?
Because Mad About You was having its final season.
Well, my opinions tend to be a little fluid.
Mm-hmm. Well, so The Sopranos were nominated for 10 Emmys. They only took home at least one major one, Edie Falco, as Carmela Soprano in The Sopranos.
Well, good for her.
Yeah. We love it. What did you think about John Leguizamo winning for Freak? And he was very excited.
John Leguizamo won for Freak.
Yeah.
I can't remember what Freak is.
I think it's his comedy special.
It's like a movie, a show,
or a comedy special, like I just said.
It's just a comedy special?
I believe
like
so,
An
yes.
hour-long special on TV? Or?
No, yes. Yes. It's a comedy special.
Well, I didn't see it.
Like how they do comedy things.
So I can't weigh in on that.
You remember how they had a whole TV station called Comedy Central? And they would show comedy stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's what it's like.
They still have that
I know.
station, you know.
I'm aware, but they don't show. It's not like in the early 90s when like basically all they showed on Comedy Central were stand-up comedy sets. Or like whatever. There was like 2 Drink Minimum, I think was one. They had a bunch of different shows that were basically just, hey, these are comedians we filmed in comedy clubs telling jokes. So we're just going to montage that all together. And then they would have Short Attention Span Theater, which SAST, which was hosted by Mark Maron for a while, I think. Anyway, that's all I know about the early origins of Comedy Central. They also had a poker show called The Real Deal, I think.
Of course you know about the poker show.
Well, they didn't focus much on the poker. It was stand-up comedians sitting around playing poker and telling jokes, and mostly they just focused on them telling jokes. Like, you didn't even see the hands.
Weird.
Yeah. Well, no one gives a fuck about poker. Could you imagine poker?
You do.
Could you imagine poker televised? No one would give a fuck about that.
I would rather watch paint dry.
They do the World Series of Poker every once in a while. They'll show that on ESPN 19 or whatever, and it's it's not like it's late at night kind of shit. Like just dudes sitting around smoking cigarettes.
You watch it, don't you?
That's beside the point. Okay. But news, Carol.
Yes, dear.
Yeah, that's a good show. This is not really entertainment news per se, but I thought this was kind of interesting.
Sure.
They're finding a new use for robots. Dangerous tasks. Future wars could be fought by robots commanded by humans, a robotics specialist told Britain's leading science conference Thursday. Within 5 years, we could withdraw from war completely and let robots shoot it out.
Jeez. Isn't that basically how Star Wars works?
I think you're thinking of the Terminator. Star Wars? No, robots aren't fighting in Star Wars.
Uh-huh.
Who?
Like C-3PO and
C-3PO's
R2-D2.
picking up a gun?
And stormtroopers are robots, aren't they?
No, I don't think so. I think they're normal dudes, because like in the first movie, they're talking about speeders and stuff like that. Like, oh, did you hear about this? Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, well, never mind.
Yeah, exactly. A system of integrating virtual reality and the real world could be the key to creating robots that could carry out other hazardous tasks such as mine clearance, undersea exploration, and work in radioactive environments.
Well, that's all good.
What do you think about that?
I like it.
So more robots is what you're saying?
No, not more robots, but use the robots for that shit, yes.
Use the robots.
I mean, I don't need a robot, like, bringing me my coffee, but if you want to, like, clear out mines, yes, that makes sense. Stuff people wouldn't do.
So people don't get trapped in mines anymore.
Yeah.
So instead we just get baby Jessicas and Wells.
And so people don't lose jobs that they actually, don't like, that they actually want.
What? So people don't lose jobs they don't like, but that they actually want. Okay, gotcha.
No.
No, that makes sense. That makes complete sense.
You're so mean to me. Like, just completely mean to me.
I don't understand what you meant.
So take out a part of the sentence and it makes sense.
Oh, okay. It's a choose your own adventure. You have to decide which part of the sentence to take out for it to make sense.
I was saying.
Excellent.
Having them do jobs people don't want to do is good.
Okay. Yeah.
Having them do jobs people do want to do would be bad.
Oh, like the people that want to give you coffee. I got you.
Correct. Correct, Mark.
And now the names and faces political reports. Ricky Martin, you're familiar with Richard Martin?
Ricky Martin, the singer?
Yeah, the one that's living La Vida Loca or whatever. Has weighed in on the controversial jail release of 11 Puerto Rican rebel fighters by saying he approves. Quote, "It's good that they're out," the pop sensation said, adding that he hadn't joined the campaign lobbying for their release because, quote, "I know what I think and always keep it to myself," except in this case, I suppose, when you just said you're glad they're out. In other breaking Martin news, his goatee stays.
What?
He's got a goatee.
Who gives a shit?
He's got a goatee now. Mr. Sony, that would be Tommy Mottola, likes it, Martin noted, so I'm keeping it. Ain't democracy grand?
Like, do we not have anything more important to fill the newspaper with?
No, apparently not. You want to hear about Jerry Seinfeld?
Maybe.
He still has an RSVP'd for the New York Flyers Club roast scheduled for October 1st on Comedy Central, by the way.
Okay.
For Jerry Stiller, who played George's dad, Mr. Costanza. You want my hot take? I don't think he's going to be there. I don't think he's showing up.
Yeah, probably not.
He's too big of a name to go to the New York Friars Club roast. Plus, roasts aren't like, that's not his thing. Mm-hmm. Like, roasting someone, that's not his type of comedy at all. I honestly think, I'm not a huge fan of his stand-up comedy. I famously liked his show. Every fan of this show knows I famously liked Jerry Seinfeld's show.
Yes.
But Seinfeld, it was called. Everyone, in case you don't remember that show that ended last year. But I don't love his stand-up, really. It's fine, but I don't think it's, like, great.
Well, if his stand-up is anything like, how he started his shows, then, yeah, it kind of sucked.
Yeah. What's the deal with airline food?
It's stupid.
Oh, I'm going to roast this guy.
Yeah, no.
Your face looks stupid. It's been a while, 1991, since Paul Rubens, who played the schwarmy faux kids host Pee Wee Herman, was arrested for strange behavior in a Florida porn theater. I take umbrage with that sentence. I don't think his behavior was that strange.
Not for the environment he was caught in.
Yeah, exactly. Masturbating at a porn film in a porn theater. I mean, if he was masturbating to The Little Mermaid, I guess that came out in 89. What came out in 91? I don't know. But if he was masturbating...
Terminator.
Yeah, okay. No, Terminator 2.
2. Yeah, Terminator 2.
If he was masturbating in Terminator 2, like Linda Hamilton's not that hot, that would be strange behavior.
Yeah.
But in a porn theater, that's...
What do you expect people to do?
I gotta imagine he wasn't the only one masturbating in that theater.
No, they just went for him because he was famous.
Exactly. In Us magazine, he blames, surprise, surprise, the media. Quote, here's my best Pee Wee Herman impersonation. I felt like the press had created a situation that didn't need to be created.
So Pee Wee Herman is also Noah from 90210?
Was that close?
Nah.
Because I was thinking, well, Pee Wee wasn't arrested. I was. Ah! I can't do it. Why did they have to bring Pee Wee into this? Leave him out of it. I wanted the papers to say an actor, Paul Rubens, who portrayed the character, was arrested. I agree with him. I honestly think that his career was maligned because of this. It was hurt, I think, unfairly so. I think that it was bullshit, in my opinion.
I mean, he shouldn't be masturbating in public.
In a theater? In a porn theater, though?
He shouldn't be in a porn theater.
Why?
Because it's gross.
He can't... Oh,
and he's a child star.
Wow, you're talking... I guess coming from a person that's never masturbated before...
Ha, ha, ha.
Then, I guess you can say that. To get on your high horse. But don't let the horse go too fast. James Van Der Beek is one of the stars masturbating in a porn theater. No, is one of the stars of the demographically correct TV show Dawson's Creek. The conventional wisdom among the physically obsessed is that his head is out of proportion to the rest of his body.
It's not. That is very true.
To his defense comes the show's director, Steve Miner. By the way, the only person to ever direct two Friday the 13th films, Friday the 13th Part 2 and Part 3, by the way. For the record, his head is not as big as it appears on television. It's more normal size.
Oh my God.
Could you imagine one of the producers and directors of your show coming to your friend's face saying, look, I know he looks like a freak on the TV, but it's not that big. And he doesn't say it's normal sized. He says it's more normal sized. It's closer to a human head. Holy shit.
Oh my god. That reminds me of this time that one of my friends, we were at a party, looked at Brian. She's all drunk, and she goes, "Your head is like a Saint Bernard."
That's an incredibly inside joke for our show. Those of you out there who know who Brian is, our friend Brian.
He does have a rather large head.
He has a Saint Bernardi type head. It's not, but in real life, it's more normal sized, guys.
It's like the kind of thing that you think, but you don't say. But then you add alcohol.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder if Steve Miner was drunk when he did that interview.
Maybe.
I directed one of the best Friday the 13th. And you want to talk about this kid's head? Jason would have had a field day with him. That's all I'm saying.
God.
Anyway, speaking of heads and getting them wounded in ways, we watched American Beauty.
Yeah, we did.
Kevin Spacey, Annette Bening, others.
What were the girls' names? You know their names.
Wes Bentley was the guy.
The son.
Yeah, the boy. And then there's what's her name? Minu Suvari.
Uh-huh.
And Thora Birch.
Minu Suvari was in
American Pie.
Yeah. Very recently.
This year. She has, I think she has in her contract to be in every movie with American in the title. But I am the most American actress, and I want to be in all the American movies.
I mean, she's obviously over 18.
Obviously, because we see her small breasts.
Her breasts.
Yeah.
She's still beautiful, though, even though she has tiny boobs.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah. Don't you?
She's fine.
I think she's beautiful.
She is beautiful. She's not sexy. Which is weird because this movie wants to portray her sexy. I don't think she portrays sexy very well. In that American Pie movie, she was the dorky choir chick, right?
Yeah.
And I think that fits. I don't know how old she is. As you pointed out, she's definitely at least 18. If I had to guess, I'd say she's like 22 or something like that. But she looks young. She believably portrays a 16-year-old girl.
So she has a like makeout scene with Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, I wonder what that was like.
That had to be weird.
So does somebody else in the movie. Doesn't turn out as well.
True.
Anyway, so American Beauty, what did you think, Carol, of American Beautifulness?
I loved it. I think it is a fantastic movie. It made me cry. And it's beautiful. Like, the cinematography was gorgeous.
Cinematography is fantastic in this movie.
There's the scene, the plastic bag being blown in the air.
Yeah.
I love it. Like, for those, I mean, I'm assuming if you're listening, you've seen it.
So if you haven't seen the movie,
just go watch
see it
right now.
We're both going to give it spoilers. We're both going to recommend it. So.
Yeah. But, I mean, it was a trip. It was all over the place.
Oh, yeah. So I liked it quite a bit as well. You mentioned the cinematography. You know the cinematography is good when you notice the cinematography.
Right.
It's maybe one of my I can't remember the name of the cinematographer. I wrote it down too, but I don't have my notes on me right now. But the cinematographer, he should definitely win the Academy Award. This might be. It's definitely in my top 3 favorite cinematography, like movies for the cinematography of all time, I think. Like, this is in my top 5 of cinematography jobs done.
Okay.
Like, the lighting, the shading, colorization. It was beautiful. Like, and varied. Like, it's not all one note. Like, it's sometimes, not to speak ill of the recently dead Stanley Kubrick, who, you can't say too much bad about his cinematography, but I feel like sometimes in some of his movies, his cinematography tended to be a little more one note. I'm thinking especially of Clockwork Orange, where there's a lot of like bright garish colors. I get the idea. I get the idea behind it. I get the reasoning for it. But it's a good cinematography job. But it's kind of like a one. It's a one note you're hitting, one motif you're hitting with the cinematography. The cinematography in this movie, it hits a lot of like there are fantasy scenes where it's big and bright and colorful, and then there are quieter scenes where it's darker. There's a lot more shading. It's a cooler, cooler color temperature. So there's rich, like warm color temperatures. There's cool color temperatures, and I just think it's fantastic cinematography. I can't say enough about it.
One of the characters is a photographer, so we get to, or a videographer, I guess, and so we get to see through his lens a lot too, which is different. That's a different perspective as well. Yeah,
it breaks stuff up for sure. So character wise, I think it's funny. Alan Ball wrote the script to this. He's somewhat of a newcomer. Sam Mendes, who's also somewhat of a newcomer, is the director here. The script, I haven't read the script, so I can't tell you exactly the script as written, but I think it's very interesting. Most of these characters, I feel like, are cliches.
Okay.
So you have the midlife crisis dad, the depressed midlife crisis dad. You have the neurotic, controlling wife. You have the angsty teenage daughter. You have the rebel loner boy next door. You have the cheerleader slut. And you have the abusive military father, like strict, and so you have all these stereotypes, but yet these characters. So I feel almost like Alan Ball went out and said, let me do archetypes, and they did all these like archetypes, because this movie is very clearly a satire of American middle classhood, and so I think he went through and said, let me do all the archetypes, right? But he didn't. Instead of stopping there and making these characters feel two-dimensional, he fleshed them out with their own kinds of backstory, and then each of the actors portraying these characters, Kevin Spacey especially is a standout, Annette Bening as well, but even Chris Cooper in the small part that he has as the military next door neighbor. Wes Bentley is mentioned, it's fantastic. Thora Birch is great. Mina Savari is great. They're all excellent in their role. They all do a fantastic acting job, and they give dimension. And I think, as written, they have some more dimension too. Like he put a little bit more into them. But they all started out as archetypes, easily.
Yeah, for sure. The movie, starts out, I think, mostly with just how unhappy the guy is, and kind of branches out from there to everyone around him, and realizing everyone around him's also unhappy.
I was going to ask you. So I felt like each of the characters in this movie have some sort of mental problem. And you know a lot more about that than I do. So, can you help me diagnose them?
Oh my God, okay.
I mean, not fully diagnose them, but he's obviously depressed.
Yeah.
He's suffering from some kind of depression. What's up with the wife, Carolyn?
I
almost your name, by the way.
I honestly kind of feel like she's... I was going to say she's a little depressed too, but she's got maybe obsessive compulsive personality disorder. Yeah.
Some anxiety or something like that maybe too.
Inferiority complex for sure.
She has this weird thing where she's trying to sell a house and it doesn't go as well as she wants it to. And then after everyone leaves, this is another beautifully cinematographied scene, or well lit scene, I guess. She slaps herself while she's crying and says, "Shut up, baby," and stuff like that. It's a great little one woman scene. Mm-hmm. Annette Bening is a fantastic actress. But yeah, I was trying to figure out what kind of insight that gives me into what is wrong with her, because there's definitely something wrong with her, and I'm not sure.
Well, You don't think normal people do that?
Cry and slap themselves and say, "Shut up, baby"? No. Do you? Do you do that?
I have done that.
Okay, so this is a woman thing, is what you're saying?
I don't know.
I just don't get it because it's something all women are made to do.
I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know specifically what is wrong with her. There's obviously a lot wrong with her, but I feel like she's just desperately unhappy and feels unfulfilled and is trying to fill whatever that hole is by, eventually filling her hole.
Right. With Peter Gallagher, of all people. I feel like that, I guess everyone, like you said, everyone in this movie is unhappy in some way or another. Even the slut cheerleader.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, because she's not a slut.
No.
She's pretending.
Turns out she's a virgin.
Yeah.
But she thinks it's more interesting to not be a virgin, I guess.
But see, and that's the thing, too. Like, you asked me which one of these teenage girls I identified more with, and I said her, which I think is probably not the answer you expected. I didn't
have an answer that I was expecting.
But I mean, I honestly did the same thing when I was a teenage virgin.
Yeah.
Flirt with everybody, act like a slut.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're actually a slut, you don't usually act like that.
That's true.
I don't think.
I don't know. I haven't known any sluts, honey. So I wouldn't know. But no, the reason I asked the question, I think I explained this. Spoilers, everyone. We talked about this movie.
We do talk.
Not in front of you.
We do. We have conversations outside of here.
But I kind of felt like they were, so Thora Birch and Mio Suvari, I felt that like their characters were sort of archetypical two sides of one person, one teenage girl. Like, teenage girls sometimes feel like Thora Birch and they sometimes feel like Mio Suvari. I thought they were like kind of two sides. So that's why I asked you, because I thought maybe you'd be like, well, I could go either way, kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that.
What do you think the point of this movie was? Because this is not Speed, This isn't even Speed 2, Cruise Control. This isn't like, I wouldn't even say it's The Matrix. Like, I do think The Matrix has some deep undercurrents of philosophy and stuff like that, but it's also a pulse pounding action movie too, right? Mm-hmm. It's not those movies.
No.
It's very much a slice of life. If you really go plot point by plot point, there's not a lot that happens in the movie, and the movie is all about its ideas and its ennui and its how it feels. So it's more cerebral. Not saying it's better or worse, because I think that Star Trek 1, which is the slower, more contemplative movie, is not as good as Star Trek 2, the more action-centered movie. And I think Star Trek 2 has more interesting things to say and more things you could drill down into it about meaning and stuff like that. But this movie is clearly made for its message. So what do you think that message is?
I mean, I think there's a lot of messages, but I mean, the title of the movie, American Beauty,
sure,
is part of the movie is talking about, the beauty in the simple things in life. And I think, they're also unhappy because they're not experiencing that. And then when the main character stops trying to...
Lester Burnham.
Yeah. Lester stops trying to achieve the goals that he's supposed to and just kind of stops and appreciates everything going on around him. That's when he found his happiness.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's one of the main ones. Because like I said, I think this is very clearly a satire of American middle-class families today. And I think that's one of the things that it's supposed to try to do, is to have people confront those things, confront how we feel about that kind of stuff. And I think it's a lot about like disillusionment and the meaninglessness of, as he says, like he shares a moment of connection with his wife at one point where he talks about, where was that girl that, like used to run up to the roof of our building to flash the traffic helicopters. And he's like, I think she's still in there or whatever. And they start making out. And then she notices his beer bottle. And she says, kind of innocently, hey, you're going to spill beer. And then that triggers him because he's like, gets all angry and starts like, I mean, he doesn't yell at her. But
no, he just is done with it. He walks away from her. Because
he's like, the couch doesn't matter. Like, none of this matters. All this stuff doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. And I think that's part of the message of the movie is this idea, this commercialism that we need to, gather and collect things. Like, that's not what life's about. That's what American beauty is about. Like the beautiful American culture or whatever that we've cultivated. That's what that's about. But I don't think that's where the real beauty is, as far as the movie is concerned. Because it's obviously a reference to the flower. Because the rose is American Beauty rose. But that's clearly symbolic of this other stuff, too.
Also, like at the very end, when Lester is dead and talking about his life, flashing before his eyes.
Sure.
And what it was that flashed before his eyes. And it was the people he loved. It was his wife and his daughter. It wasn't any of the other bullshit.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't his...
that really got me.
Yeah. Because, he buys the Trans Am or whatever. He's got Firebird or whatever he buys. He's got the pot and stuff like that. He thinks about, like, all the things and everything. But, yeah, when he's dying and he thinks about the things that matter to him, it's none of that stuff.
No. It was the stuff he wasn't paying attention to, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, that's the thing, too, because we're led to believe... Well, first of all, Lester is our main character. Mo Lester. And he, from basically the very, very beginning of the film, becomes obsessed with this 16-year-old girl. And this is our hero or whatever, but obviously he is a deeply flawed character. And we're kind of led to believe, because we see a lot of things through his eyes, that Carolyn, his wife, Annette Bening, is the one responsible for the downfall of their marriage. But in actuality, I'm sure he's part of it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because we do see that he is completely neglectful of his own daughter. Mm-hmm. And part of Janie, his daughter, Thora Birch, part of her anger about the situation, like he's so obsessed with Mia Savari's character, Angela, is that her name?
Yeah.
Is that he's paying so much more attention to her than he ever paid attention to
his daughter.
His daughter. So, yeah, I think that's a big part of it. So I think he's been neglectful for a long time. I think he has a big hand in the downfall of his marriage and his relationship with his daughter. It's also interesting to me, he acts like a kid the entire movie.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people, I'm sure, are going to rightly point out, it's like, oh, he's having a midlife crisis. So he goes and acts like a teenager. He's smoking pot all the time. He's working out. He's, working a fast food job. He's driving his little sports car or whatever, right? He acts like a kid before that. Mm-hmm. He acts like a child throughout the entire movie. When he's listening at his daughter and her friend talk, and then someone's like, "Oh, what's that noise?" And he runs away like a little kid. He's like I mean, it's obviously it has to be a purposeful choice by Kevin Spacey. But when he runs away from the door, he runs away like a 7-year-old. Like, I looked at him like, I've seen little kids run away from doors like that. And just sleeping in the backseat, he's not sitting in the front seat with the wife. He's in the back seat when, and sleeping or whatever when he's going to work. He's dropping things all over the place like a gangly, uncoordinated teenager. He acts like a kid the entire movie. So just because he has his midlife crisis, I mean, he was already there. I mean, just not, he wasn't cool, I guess, or whatever, Because, not working and smoking pot and having a Trans Am are cool.
So he gets the opportunity to do all that because he blackmails his employer.
Yeah, real nice.
And because they were going to fight. Well, no, they wanted everyone to justify their job.
Yeah.
So instead of writing the justification for his job, he writes the truth that he sleeps, that he doesn't care about his job, that he masturbates in the bathroom.
And he's also masturbating in the fucking the shower at the beginning of the movie too. And like, and he masturbates in the bed later.
Yeah, he does a lot of masturbating.
Yeah, that's another like teenage type thing. Like this dude's 42, I think he said at the beginning.
Yeah.
How do you have the energy to masturbate this many times a day, dude? It's honestly impressive.
Right.
Testosterone goes down as you get older. That's all I'm saying.
Surprised he's not dehydrated.
Seriously.
But yeah, so he gets a whole year's salary as severance.
Which is great, but also, like, I feel like people in the audience laughed and, like, kind of clapped a little bit, like, when he got that and everything. And I don't think that's something to cheer about.
No.
Like, I don't think the movie thinks that's a cheer moment. I think a lot of people in the audience are, like, thinking, like, oh, I'd love to have a year's salary with benefits and not have to work and everything. But the reality is the guy was irresponsible with, what he should do to help provide for his family and stuff like that.
And his wife's obviously struggling. So
mentally too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot wrong with these characters, obviously.
What did you think though about the scene when he's masturbating in the bed and his wife wakes up and she's like, "What are you doing? Oh my god, that's disgusting." And she gets all upset and offended and she's like, I want to have sex too or something, and he's like, "Well, hop on, baby, I'm ready." Like, that is a fucked up exchange, and I was just kind of curious as to your take on their whole dynamic.
Well, they don't seem like a married couple.
No, not at all.
Like, I mean, they seem like two people that hate each other, honestly. I was going to say they seem like roommates, but they seem like two people that do not like each other. Yeah. Forced to live together.
Why even share a bed?
Bizarre experiment.
All right. Why even share a bed? I mean,
yeah.
If you don't want to touch each other or share anything with each other, why share a bed?
I don't know.
Such an intimate thing.
Yeah. At that point, they should be like Lucy and Desi, separate beds.
Or separate rooms.
Or did Lucy and Desi have the same bed?
I don't remember.
I think maybe they were the first ones to have the same bed. I don't remember.
Yeah, you tell us, Grandpa. I know you were there.
Rob Petrie and Laura Petrie had separate beds.
Who are they?
From Dick Van Dyke Show. Anyway, so and that's this is also a satirization of the sitcoms of our past. Because the sitcoms of our past told us, hey, this is what you should want, a house in New Rochelle and an ottoman to trip over. But now he says this ottoman is just a thing.
Yeah, well, it is. What did you think of the boyfriend?
Wes Bentley. I don't know. Like, he's the other character that you would probably describe as not unhappy. But I don't know what he is.
He's not happy either. I really, really think he's a psychopath. I think he has no emotions.
Yeah, you know what he reminded me of? A shark.
Yeah, he's got those dead eyes. Yes, I agree.
I feel like that's what Wes Bentley based his performance off of, was watching sharks. I did research by swimming in the ocean.
Because he's cold and calculating, and he literally, like, even when he's supposed to be expressing some feeling, he's not.
But do you think that was drilled out of him? I feel like maybe he's not a psychopath. I feel like maybe he experiences emotions. He talks about like being angry and beating the fuck out of that one kid and stuff like that. So he talks about having emotions. He talks about like, you know, things that are so beautiful, like the plastic bag that he filmed and everything. I feel like anytime he expresses any kind of overt emotions, that his father would beat him.
Yeah.
And so he's learned to hide all his emotions.
I guess that makes sense.
So he still has them, but he just doesn't want to express it.
Just like in the end when his dad breaks his heart.
Well, he kind of breaks his dad's heart, too.
Yeah. But I mean, like, when his dad thinks he's gay and beats him and kicks him out and stuff, and he's like, you mean that, don't you? Like, you can tell he's really deeply hurt by the fact that if he were gay, which he's not, that his father would kick him out.
And so then he lies and helps get Lester killed by saying that, you know, he sucked Lester's dick for $200.
Mm-hmm. He says that he's like the best around or whatever.
The best
should,
piece of
and you
ass
should see me fucking all
in
this
3
stuff.
towns.
His poor dad. I mean, like,
Wow.
I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine like a regular person hearing their kid talk like that, let alone a homophobe.
Right. But it turns out Chris Cooper is not a homophobe. Well, he is a homophobe.
Well, he is a homophobe.
But he's also a homo. I guess.
Oh my god.
I couldn't think of a
Homosexual?
I couldn't think of a funnier way to end that sentence.
Yeah, he's doing that.
A homophile.
That whole like projection, you know, he protests too much or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he ends up kissing Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, that was such a fucked up scene.
Why does everyone think Kevin Spacey's attractive, by the way? He's a great actor, but like I wouldn't think like, oh, Kevin Spacey's hot. Because like the 16-year-old girl thinks he's hot, the fucking gay guy thinks he's hot.
Does he?
He wants to kiss him?
The gay guy? Oh, you're talking about the guy who kills him.
Yes.
I think meant because they had gay neighbors who were like openly gay, and that was like part of their character.
And here's the other thing, real quick, before you get to your very serious point that you're going to make about how weird that scene was. At the beginning of the movie, if I'd known that he was going to be killed at the beginning of the movie, when we saw the neighbors, I would have been like, I feel like one of these neighbors maybe leapt into the neighbor to try to stop what's going to happen from happening.
What?
I'm just saying that Sam Beckett failed this leap.
Oh my god.
Scott Bakula is one of the neighbors.
It didn't even occur to me.
But he was sent, like, obviously he leapt into that guy to try to save Lester Burnham, and he was just...
Well, he failed.
He failed. He was distracted. Then Al's like, according to Ziggy, he was supposed to die the whole time.
Oh my gosh.
And then he leaps.
It's a good show. It is a good show.
It was a good show, yeah. And they canceled it.
Because they suck.
Yeah. Anyway, so talk about the scene. The fucked up scene.
I don't remember where I left off, so...
We were talking about the scene where Chris Cooper kisses him. In the rain. He shows up at the garage. You said that was a fucked up scene.
It was fucked up.
Well, tell us why.
Okay, so he is crying. He comes in.
He's crying.
And Kevin Spacey, like, hugs him and is trying to comfort him. And they're, like, practically strangers. They've met, like, once or something.
That's what I think is weird. Like, imagine this from Kevin Spacey's point of view.
Right.
This dude comes in and he's just, like, he's all soaking wet. And Kevin Spacey's like, oh, let me get you out of those clothes and stuff. Like, everything. And he's like, he hugs him and shit. Like, I remember turning to you, like, when, because we all knew that Chris Cooper thought he was gay. And Kevin Spacey obviously doesn't. And he said something. I don't remember what he says, but it sounds very much like, oh, that's what it was. He was like, where's your wife? And he goes, I don't know. Yeah. And he's like...
he said our marriage is a sham.
Yeah, just for appearances, the middle class, like, appearance or whatever. And I'm like, Lester, you're saying all the wrong things and you don't even know it. Like, you are leading this dude on.
Yeah, so he kisses him. He's not a bad-looking guy, back to your point.
Oh, okay. Chris Cooper?
No, he is a bad-looking guy. I'm talking about
or Chris Cooper. Kevin Spacey.
He's not bad. He's definitely not hot. But I don't think a ton of people, like you said too, like 2 people thought he was hot. It was the teenage girl who partially, I think, was just fucking with her friend more than anything.
Yeah, that's true.
And then
she felt desired, so she was like, let's do this.
Yeah, because she I bet you she has daddy issues. I bet you her parents are divorced, or like maybe her dad was never around, or who knows, and she's like, oh yeah, dad's paying attention to me. Yeah. That was fucked up too. There's so much fucked up in this movie, like just so much wrong.
I love how the movie becomes a murder mystery for a second too, by the way, at the end.
Yeah.
Just for a little bit.
Did you think it was his wife? Because that's what I thought.
I thought it was going to be his wife, and then of course we hear the gunshot, and she's still in the driveway or whatever. We flashed to people it couldn't be. Do you think she was actually going to kill him? She's approaching, gun in hand, in the rain. That's when he gets shot. That's when we see her. Do you think she was actually going to do it?
I don't know. I don't know why she would. He didn't do anything to her. She was cheating on him.
Yeah.
And she got caught. Why would she go home and kill him?
She was the victim or whatever, apparently, according to the tape she was listening to.
Yeah. What was up with that? Like, are we supposed to think he's abusive? She obviously does, but there's no indication of that.
I don't think we're supposed to think he was abusive. I don't think she did either. I think she was just listening to some fucked up motivational tape.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know if she was really going to kill him.
I think she was going to chicken out. That's my opinion. My opinion was she was going to enter the house and then she was just going to chicken out. I don't think she was going to do it.
But then when she sees that somebody's already shot him, she throws her purse or the gun in her laundry hamper. I think it's still in her purse.
Yeah.
What a stupid thing to do. That makes her look so much more guilty.
Yeah, put it in a place where one would normally keep a gun. Because here's the thing. You didn't shoot him.
Right.
And they would test the gun.
Yeah.
They'd be like, hey, was this gun fired? Oh, nope. Wasn't fired. Does this bullet match this gun? Nope. So it wasn't that gun.
Yeah, there's no reason unless it's like not a registered weapon or something. I guess maybe hide it then. But
yeah, I don't know. I think they're in Connecticut or whatever. Who knows?
But I think if they find it hidden, it's just going to cause a lot more problems.
Yeah, I agree. And then she, it's very clear she gets a whiff of his scent from his clothes, and then she buries her face into his clothes while she's crying. Because, I don't know, I guess she's going to miss him.
I mean, I'm sure a part of her will miss him a little because they did love each other at some point. I mean...
Yeah. I don't know, it's the whole thing's fucked up.
Yeah.
Do you think Chris Cooper's going to get away with it? He comes to the house, he's covered in blood, he's wearing gloves.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean... Here's the thing. His son, if they follow through with their plan, his son's about to disappear.
That's true.
With the daughter. So the police are going to be involved in that, too. And that's going to have them questioning him, and that's going to make them maybe connect some dots.
And it might make them think that the two of them did it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Although, are they going to run away right away now? Because I don't think they
probably
are.
not. You're right.
We don't know a lot about what's going to happen, but I don't think they're going to... I think they're going to talk to the police first, at least. He's obviously not welcome back home, but I don't know. Maybe the resolution of this movie is that, like you said, they start connecting dots, and they're like, well, we don't know who it could be or whatever, and they question the name. Chris Cooper's not going to stand up to questioning. That guy's too emotionally unstable right now. He's going to crack under pressure. And if Wes Bentley's like, oh, he's got a big collection of guns or whatever, they're going to want to test that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's getting caught. I don't think he's getting away with it.
I mean, he has a hole in his gun display right now.
Yeah. So I don't think he's getting away with it. I think he'll probably get arrested, and then maybe Wes Bentley can move back home.
Yeah. What was up with his mom?
Take care of his catatonic mom.
What is wrong with that lady? Holy shit.
I don't know, but she's too long in a marriage where she's had the fucking humanity beaten out of her.
I mean, she barely even talks.
Yeah, it's Allison Janney plays that role, and again, great actress.
She's amazing. She was in a movie not long ago too that we watched.
Yeah, she was in the Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Yeah, I like her.
She was good in that. Funny. This is varied. She was very funny on that. She's very deadpan and like heartbreaking in this. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of the end of the road for old Lester Burnham. By the way, in this movie, confirmed afterlife exists, I guess, because he's talking to us, and telling us, "Hey, guess what? Fucking one day you'll know what I'm talking about, because one day you're going to be here too." Apparently, everyone gets shot in the back of the head by a homophobe in this world. I don't know.
I hope not.
Oh, okay. I thought that's the leading cause of death. Is a Three's Company style mistaken identity.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought the acting was great. I think it's one of those. I wonder how well this movie will age.
Yeah.
Because this is very much speaks to the culture that we have right now, currently. Middle class American culture as it exists in 1999. I think it's written for that. I think it's very applicable to that. I think it means a lot right now.
Okay.
I think the acting is that's universal. I think the acting's probably always going to be applauded, The cinematography, another thing that's universal. I think that should always be applauded. But the actual like storyline and everything, and the message of the movie, I don't know. Yeah. Maybe this is one of those movies we learn from. It's kind of like Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, like interracial couples and stuff like that. That was a movie that was very applicable to its time. Less so today.
Less so, yeah.
Yeah. So, still considered a great movie, I'm sure. But, yeah, I wonder about that. It's the only thing I wonder about it. It's very much a movie of now.
But go watch it right now.
Yeah.
Because it's great.
All right, well, that's the show for this week. Carol, tell people where they can find their own Nazi memorabilia.
Oh, my God. You can rate us at latefee1994 at AOL.com. Mm-hmm. Check out our website at www.retrolatefee.com.
Yep.
And share the tapes with your friends.
All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.